Tom Brady is finally happy. Well, I guess I should say in terms of his football career. Peter King of NBC Sports got some great info from Bucks camp this last week. We're going to go over and react to that, plus other details coming out of Tampa. I want to split this video up into 3 parts. First, we're going to go over Bradys Arm Strength, how he's looked in camp thus far, and about how he's fitting in Bruce Arians' system. Then we'll go to how he's coaching up his teammates as he attempts to get what was a lackluster franchise into a potential Super Bowl contender. And of course, we have some new insight into why he left the Patriots and how much he's enjoying his new team. First off, with Bradys Arm Strength, especially in a system that typically has more downfield routes, let's start off with a quote from Bruce Arians. Here's what he said to all the people who doubt Brady still has the arm to fling it deep to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They're not that smart. The guy can make every throw. He threw a ball 60 yards the other day to wide receiver Scotty Miller that was on a dime. The thing about our offense is you throw it to the guy that's open. If Tom sees an open man deep, he takes the shot. If not, read it out. He and Peyton Manning, who Arians previously worked with, have that same characteristic. Like, I'm not going to take a 50-50 shot when I get a 90% shot underneath. King said that the takeaway from practice was that Brady was throwing bullets. He also thinks his arm looks better than last season, and Brady himself said that his arm is strong and is as in shape as it has ever been. Now, I'm not sure if I necessarily believe that, but the reports coming out of camp look very, very promising. Here's what O.J. Howard said about Brady as a coach. When he speaks, everyone listens. He does a lot of coaching. He coaches everyone at the same time. It's just a different type of leadership I see in Tom. He also said Brady gives him coaching tips on breaking bad habits. He puts it in my head every day. That's what a true leader does. He does it in a humble way, so chill. That's Tom Brady. One of the best to ever play our game, and every day he's got something for me to make me better. And another player who could become Brady's favorite target, Mike Evans, said that Brady wants to make him a living legend. This is something Brady did for years in New England. He just elevates the play of those around him. And a major reason for that, especially for some years when the surrounding players seem to be outdoing expectations, is the on-field coaching and on-field example Brady carries with every step he takes. Evans and Godwin may already be stars, but I think it's safe to say someone like O.J. Howard could elevate their game, or maybe a player like Scotty Miller could have a coming-out party on the national stage. And honestly, even with someone like Evans, well, Randy Moss was going to be a Hall of Famer without Brady, but he still had his best year on the Patriots. I guess we should have expected Brady coaching up his teammates, but I feel like this wasn't really talked about much around the league. It's what winners do. We saw Aaron Donald do it this past week on Hard Knocks. And anyway, is it much of a surprise that 6-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady might just be an upgrade in the leader category over Jameis Ida W. Winston? I'd say that's not very shocking. I know I joke and I don't mean to knock on Winston too much, but Brady is going to be an upgrade at that no matter who he's taking the place of. Finally, we get to some of the juicy details. Brady said there were about 20 factors weighted in importance that he considered while making the move to Tampa. He said, when I added it up, Tampa seemed like it was a great opportunity. I am so happy with the decision I made. I made a decision to do something different. It was a very thoughtful decision. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing. Really, since the moment I got here, they've embraced me. They've embraced me with the opportunity to go and lead the team. That's a big responsibility for me. Brady wouldn't name the 20 factors specifically, but I feel like we could easily name several of those factors ourselves. So, in no particular order, number 1, how about Arians over Belichick? Laid-back Bruce is going to appreciate him more than Bill, something Brady seemed to want after giving the team 20 years of service and not getting much back from Belichick himself. 2. Wide receivers. Evans, Godwin. This one is obvious, especially when you look at the wide receiver separation the Pats were getting last year. 3. Tight ends. It's clear Brady did his homework on someone like Howard, who was once a first-round pick with plenty of talent, and Cameron Brate is better than anything the Pats were putting out last year as well. 4. Contract in years. 5. Contract in money, meaning respect. 6. You probably had a feeling once he was out of New England that he could get Gronk back. It's pretty clear Gronk did not want to play for Belichick. 7. Spreading the TB12 brand to a new part of the country. 8. Proving he could play well and win without Belichick. 9. Robert Kraft getting rid of Antonio Brown in a year lacking weapons. 10. Belichick banning Alex Guerrero. 11. Patriots defense won't be as good as last year, mainly with the front seven taking a massive hit. 12. Bucks defense could improve with a young but more experienced secondary. 13. Is it safe to assume Giselle would prefer living in Florida over New England? 14. The grass is always greener somewhere else. After 20 years, Brady wanted to try something new and fresh, and you can tell that this is the case in that quote I read earlier. 15. According to the New York Times, Brady was worn out by McDaniels. I think this was disputed by another report, but I guess it's still worth mentioning. 16. Weirdly enough, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with that roster, have a better chance at winning a Super Bowl in the next 2 years than the New England Patriots.
The Bucks will win it all. The Greek Freak will be MVP.
Now I'm just naming these things off the top of my head, so if I forgot something, then let me know. I'm sure all of us together could pretty much put together 20 sound reasons for why Tom Brady left the Patriots for the Bucks earlier this offseason. I've gone over this in pretty extensive detail in other videos, but in the end, Brady said he's happy right now. That's not a word we heard him really use all last year. In fact, he usually just said they weren't good enough in a certain game, or the situation was just frustrating. It's clear there isn't much, if any, regret Brady has in leaving the Pats. He's brought along his buddy Gronk, who also seems happier now that he's left. Brady made a conscious choice in life to do what makes him happy. If you follow him outside the football realm, you'll see how much he's into this. That's why he hangs out with life coach Tony Robbins, and that's why he said he would plead the fifth when asked if he was appreciated by the Patriots. Now in Tampa Bay, he's happy, and that's the reason he left New England in the first place. I'm not saying he didn't greatly enjoy his time there. I'm saying in 2020, Tampa Bay was the right place for Tom Brady.
Meanwhile in New England, Brian Hoyer is taking QB1 snaps.